Hi everyone, thanks for stopping by the channel and checking out the video. And in this latest video, I'm going to show you how I made these wooden pumpkin jack-o'-lanterns out of a cedar fence picket. So if you're interested, stick around and I'll show you how I did it. Alright, well, as I mentioned in the intro there, I made these wooden pumpkin jack-o'-lanterns out of a cedar fence picket. The same type of material that everyone's using to make the box style lanterns. And as you can see in the background there, I made some box style lanterns too, but I'm not going to do a video on those because there's so many other videos out there showing you how to do those, and I wanted to do something a little bit more unique and different than the box style lanterns. But in this video here, I'll show you exactly how I made these and what goes into the process for it. It's a little bit more effort and time that's involved in making these, but I think it's worth it, because I've sold about 75 of these so far this year, and I can charge anywhere from $25 to $30 a piece depending on where exactly I'm marketing these things. So it's a really good money maker for you. If you want to stick around and see how I did it, I'd appreciate it. And but let me know if you have any questions and comments, and thanks for watching. Okay, well, as you can see here, I have everything laid out in Carveco Maker, and I have it laid out to cut 4 of these jack-o'-lanterns at one time. And I have, this is 33.5 inches wide here. So then I have everything spaced out and centered equally within each one of these little boxes where you can see the lines here. So then I'll have the faces of the pumpkins, I'll have that as a toolpath as done as a face pocket. So it'll just kind of go in a circular motion here and cut out each of the faces. The first time I made these, I tried to do a profile pass, and it just didn't work out too good. So just to do a face pocket so that it just cuts this whole entire area out with nothing left in it. Seems to be the best way to go. And then here, this inside circle here will be the hollowed out part of the pumpkin, and I have 3 pieces for each pumpkin that'll be hollowed out, and then this is the back here, and then this text is on here just to let me know as far as the layout of each pumpkin, and how to lay out my wood the best, so that way I try to reduce the knots on the faces of the pumpkins. But again, this row here, these will be 5 pieces for the first pumpkin, and then it just kind of continues on, 5 pieces for the next one, and then 5 for the next one, and so forth. So I have all these laid out. So again, the faces will be done as a face pocket. These inside here will be done as an inside profile pass, and then this outside here will be done as an outside profile pass. And I'll be using an 1/8 inch O-flute bit for all of this, and it just makes it go a lot faster. So that way I don't have to change bits. With the fence picket boards being only 5.5 inches wide and laying them horizontally, it would make the pumpkins a little smaller if I used a 1/4 inch bit. So I'm using an 1/8 inch bit, and I usually go pretty conservative on my tool paths and for speeds and feeds, so I don't mind it because I can always do something else while the machine is cutting these out. So again, I have it all laid out here, and again I have my tool path set for an 1/8 inch O-flute bit, and all of them are going to be around 65 inches per minute, and I'm going to be doing a 0.2 inch depth of cut for the entire thing. So all in all, it takes about a little over an hour to cut all of these out, all 20 of these pieces out. So I'll go ahead and show you my layout here on the machine, and we'll just keep going. Okay, well, here you can see my layout on the Shiboko 4 XXL. I have the 5 boards all laid out, and they're all screwed down. That's usually the best way that I found to do this, because fence pickets are not always perfectly flat, and to try and use any other tape or glue methods, it's not going to work. So again, I laid out my grid on the boards here, and I'll show you a little closer. You can see here I screwed them down in between each pumpkin, and then I screwed the centerpiece that's going to be the hollow part of the pumpkin here is going to be cut out. I just screwed those in place because again I tried using tabs for this on the inside portion here, and it just didn't work out so well, and it was always harder to cut those out, and so I just put a screw in each one and that holds it in place. But the outside circle is going to be held in place with tabs on the outside profile cut. But again, and it only takes about 10 minutes to get this all laid out and set up. So as you can see here again, this is the fence, half of the fence picket cut to 33.5 inches long, and then screwed in place, marked out for the layout. And I usually try to lay it out wherever the face of the pumpkin's going to be. I always try to make sure it's a nice, clean looking piece, like this piece right here. There's no knots. Sometimes there's a knot in it, like this one here is going to be a face, but that's more than likely going to be cut out, so I don't have to worry about that. And even so, if there is a little knot, I found some of the pumpkins, especially with the cedar, once you put the clear finish on it, it just brings out the nice natural grain and look at the cedar board. So sometimes the knots actually look pretty cool with it in there. So I'll go ahead and get the machine zeroed in, set my origin point, and we'll start cutting it, and then I'll show you a bit of the process of it cutting. I won't show you the whole thing, but just so you can get an idea of the machine going around and just cutting all the shapes at different points in the process. Okay, well here's a little bit of the progress I have so far here. As you can see, I pulled all the boards off of the machine, got them cleaned up a little bit, and I have this one pumpkin here all cut out of the main piece. As you can see, it's going to be 5 pieces stacked together, and these will be glued. These 3 layers here will be glued and nailed to each other with a brad gun, and they'll also be nailed and glued to the back piece like this, but from the other side, so they'll stack up like that. I'll have 3 pieces stacked up, and then I'll have those will be glued and nailed together, and then I'll have the top piece glued on, and then I'll clamp these together. So I'm missing one piece here. These are just some extras from another pumpkin. So I have those. Like I said, this one here is the one I'll be showing you, I'll be working on. And again, just the 5 pieces. You can see the 3 pieces here stacked together that'll be hollowed out. And then I'll take this, once I get it glued and nailed together, I'm going to be taking this over to my drill press. I have a little jig set up, and I'm going to cut out a hole here for the tealight that goes into it. So you can access the tealight from the bottom, and it'll just be snugged in there with a little bit of electrical tape or some tape or something wrapped around the tealight just to give it a good snug fit, and you could actually remove the tealight if you wanted. So again, this is the progress I have so far. And then once I get all of this glued together and clamped, then I'll cut out the pumpkin stem here. I've got my little pattern, and I'm using one of the interior cutout pieces from here to make the pumpkin stem. So I'll go ahead and show you a little bit of the process of that, and we'll just keep going. Okay, so as you can see here, after the piece is glued up here, you can see it's all stacked together and glued, and then these 3 interior sections here are also nailed together. But so then the next step here is I'm going to take it over to the oscillating spindle sander, clean up the edges, and then over to the drill press, where I'm going to drill a hole here in the center to accept the tealight. And then after that, I'll put on the stem, or I'll burn the stem with a torch and then put it on top here, and that should be the finished project. So I'll go ahead and take it over to the router table and show you how I round over the edges. Alright, so next I'm going to set up the drill press and drill a hole in the bottom. And here I have my drill press set up. As you can see here, I have my pumpkin, and I have the hole drilled, or marked where I want to drill the hole, roughly center. So I made up this box here, so that way I do not have to put my hand on the pumpkin while it's drilling. So basically the pumpkin slides into this box like that. And I use some sandpaper or shims or something to wedge it in there so it doesn't move around. Don't know if you can see it, but I'll line up the hole, or I'll line up the bit with my crosshairs there to drill the hole. So I'll go ahead and get that set up. There you go. It's not quite center, pretty darn close though, but it's good enough for what I need. And now I'm going to just go ahead and finish sand it and put the stem on and show you the finished result before I spray it. There's the stem blackened up. I'll just brush it off and wipe it off a little bit and put it on the pumpkin. Well, here you can see after the first coat of spray finish, I'm using the clear satin spray finish just from a spray can, and you can see how it makes the color of the cedar come out. And I'll go ahead and I'll put probably 2 or 3 more coats on this just to give it a good look. And before I put the final coat on, I'll just hit it with some 400 grit sandpaper just to kind of knock off any roughness or fuzzies. But so I'll finish that up and show you the finished project along with a few other ones that I made. Well, here is the finished product for my cedar fence picket pumpkin jack-o'-lantern. I think it turned out pretty well. And in just a moment here, I'll show you some of the other ones that I did and the different grain patterns and colors of the cedar fence pickets that you can get, and also what they look like in the dark. But again, here it is all finished up. And here are some of the other pumpkin jack-o'-lanterns that I made with the cedar fence boards. And you can see how the clear spray finish really brings out the different grain patterns and color variations of the cedar and really gives it a cool effect, especially when you have some of the darker lines and knots in the wood. And then just a moment here, I'll show you what they look like with the lights off. And here it is with the lights off. The flickering tea lights really give it a really cool added effect to it. I think they turned out pretty nice. So I think that should about wrap it up for this video. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know. And otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.